Oh. Before this remarkable soul introduces herself, I just want to tell you that as a hospitaller, I have to give tremendous homage to this patron saint who gave us sanctuary throughout the centuries as we were trying to promote the purity of light and the word. This is the real deal, y'all. Introduce yourself, cutie.
Well, my name is Mona Toscano Pashka, and I started writing poetry in my middle age. And that was because my former husband was transferred to central New York, and I had to give up what I thought was a wonderful position in academia. I was working for the City University of New York. And so I went to cow country, and I was very sad. You know, it's different than New York and the dynamism. I took a course in Chinese painting. The teacher used to say, draw 1,000 straight lines, and the last will be straighter than the first. And also observe nature, so you can replicate her with your brush. Well, I wasn't too good at Chinese painting. I always saw color, and the Chinese are very subtle, nuances of gray. But what it did is it opened my eyes anew to nature, and that in turn brought forth poetry. I had done a paper on Renaissance woman for the Italian Cultural Organization, and when notice went out from the Community Rome Art Center for people interested in public presentation, I went, and it turned into a poetry group. I didn't write anything for 6 months. The first things that used to come to me was songs. But then eventually, after hearing so many wonderful poets, I started writing. And then by chance, through a friend, I got to go to Romania as a instructor, as a translator of literal English poems to put them into cogent English. And that's when I realized I was a poet in Romania. And the Romanian poets are wonderful people. And so I came home anew, and eventually from central New York, came back to the metropolitan area, came to Newburgh, and there was a group of poets that used to meet at a gallery, an art gallery on Liberty Street down 2.5 blocks. We had musicians that came and played for us. I think that we started to form a cohesive group. But then the young woman who ran the gallery moved to Denver. So we had a big discussion, where should we go? And it was decided we'd go to the library. We gave ourselves a name, Hudson River Poets. And one of the coordinators was this wonderful Japanese man who lived to be 101, Hide. And he was a bit of a philosopher. He used to have people come to his house and philosophize. And so at the age of 101, he passed the mantle to me, and so for about 4 years I became the coordinator of the Hudson River Poets. And it was a wonderful experience because that's when I came to meet so many of you. And I have to tell you that the poets are very dogged in central New York. They keep writing. When I was in central New York, they're not so interested in presenting as they are into writing because it snows so much, they don't get a chance to cohabitate, and so they send their poems out for prizes. And so many of them won prizes. One woman won $1,000 3 years in a row. Gail, her name was, and she came to be known by one of the judges, Charles Simic, and they were very good, but they couldn't hold up with this group who knows how to present and to connect to the public. And so I think there's something in the water here in the Mid-Hudson Valley that just makes people thirst for presentation, you know. And so that too developed another aspect of my poetry, and I'm very grateful for it. And so here I am. I haven't found the COVID to be a problem, because a lot of the restaurants were open and my friends weren't afraid to go out. But now I'm worried because I don't want to get vaccinated, and so many places are going to require vaccination.
Don't.
But we'll see. Anyway, I feel that my immune system is fortified, and I'm grateful for that. And you know, the quietude has produced some poets. This isn't one of them, but I was talking to someone about silence, and it reminded me of this poem, and I think I might have already read it here, and it may be in one of the anthologies. What a wonderful thing that we're anthologized. Thank you. Hey. Harkin's Light. And I have 2 other copies here. Maybe somebody wants to read it. Pass it on. Stephen Harkin's passing got me thinking origin questions. I wondered, is light weightless? He died when our northeast area was caught up in snowstorms. Before I heard the news of his death, before I read the tribute of his obituaries, I was caught up in snow's light falling white silence. Surrounding me was respite from rushing, from day to dayness. There was abounding timelessness. Then, rereading how Hawkins tripped over the Big Bang theory, I got to wondering further. Could it be snowfall enraptures because the silence encapsulates what was before there was nothingness, before the beginning? Could it be the nothingness before the start of the beginning? There was universal soundlessness, and now in the beauty of snow's silence, a silence that almost is sensate, we are brought back to our archetypical beforeness, which cradled the before of creation. In the purity of no sound, in the serenity of soundlessness, there must have been an all-encompassing state of pure peace. Oh, falling snow, I love you because you take me away from my having to hurry life, my keep on doing this, my struggle with the onslaught of time. Would that I could return to the rapture state that there was before the beginning, to the state of ecstasy when there was nothingness, to the very instant when the light was lit. And in the snap of being lit, wasn't there the spectacle of humongous whiteness, a whiteness as pure as the whiteness of soft, new falling snow? Before the seraphim sang, was there a stupendous show of white light on the inhalation of the breath of creation that, when exhaled, blasted the Big Bang.
Bravo, 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 bravo. Oh, Moon.
Well, you know, what we do as poets, besides write, we think a lot. You know, sometimes it takes a month or so before we decide whether or not we want a semicolon or a comma.
True.
Or else we just want a period so that the breath stops. Well, I've been meaning to bring this for a long while. It's a poem by Cesar Vigeo. And it's become a classic within the past 20 years or so. I forget where he was from in South America, and he did very good there. He became a diplomat, and then he went to Paris And I suppose it was right at the start of the 30s depression. He wasn't able to get work. I think he ended up working as a waiter. But anyway, he must have been thinking dark thoughts, grave thoughts. And he wrote this piece that's become well known. Black stone on white stone. I will die in Paris with a rainstorm on a day I already remember. I will die in Paris, and I don't shy away, perhaps on a Thursday, as today is in autumn. It will be Thursday because today, Thursday, as I prose these lines, I put on my humoury in a bad mood. And today, like never before, I've turned back with all my road to see myself alone. Cesar Vallejo has died. They kept hitting him, everyone, even though he does nothing to them. They give it to him hard with a club and hard also with a rope. Witnesses are the Thursdays and the humorous bones, the solitude, the rain, the roads. Yeah, he's a great poet. And I came upon this, I had never read it in one of the poetry magazines. It's lighter. Miguel. I'm sitting here on the old patio besides your absence. It is a black well. We'd play now. I can hear Mama yell, boys, come down. We'd laugh, and off I'd go to hide where you'd never look, under the stairs in the hall of the attic. Then you'd do the same, Miguel. We were too good at the game. Everything would always end in tears. No one was laughing on the August night you went to hide away again. So late it was almost dawn. But now your brother's through with this hunting and hunting, or never finding you. The shadows crowd him. Miguel, will you hurry and show yourself? Mama will only worry. So we have so many greats to read and enjoy. It's so wonderful to be among a group because we can share our thoughts and our attempts at big questions of the world. So I'm very grateful to Hayden, but also to all of you for being there as an audience.
To you too, Mona.
know. So keep writing, keep smiling, keep thinking, keep questioning.
Poet laureate of Newburgh.
Rock on.
Thank you.
And on she goes.
And I want to addend this. I adore Mona. The humanity is staggering. And it's exponential. And it was she who handed me the mantle to continue with the Hudson River Poets. And there are really only 6 degrees of separation. I will be 101 in 2050. So please join me. This is an amazing moment. Now, I'm going to read, but before I do, I am so thrilled to meet Sabella, one of Mona's 2 children, who is doing staggering things in Korea. And rather than me deflate that, I want to bring her up to introduce herself, talk about her organization and what she's doing, and if there are any hashtags or things like that for funding potential, once I put this out into the firmament, please, I guess, contact me and I will contact Mona, or I will contact Sabella, or she'll just properly enunciate the hashtag, how to reach her, and fund her, because out of every wilderness, there is no wilderness. It is the light. So Sabella, please.